At james.crid.land, I'm James Cridland, the radio futurologist. This week, talent plus brand equals success.
I can confirm on behalf of Virgin Radio that Chris Evans is no longer a presenter at the station. He has been in breach of his contract and we were left with no option but to terminate it.
I just started working for Virgin Radio 2 weeks before that, and I still have no idea who that man was who announced Chris Evans leaving Virgin Radio, and now he's coming back. The current presenter of BBC Radio 2's breakfast show, the largest breakfast show in Europe by Cume, has announced that he's leaving the station later this year and he's off back to Virgin Radio, where he's going to do the breakfast show. Now, it's the same Virgin Radio brand owned by Virgin Enterprises, but not the same station. The original Virgin Radio was bought and sold by Chris Evans himself, but after a few more ownership changes, it was rebranded as Absolute Radio, and the Virgin Radio brand is now licensed to News UK, part of Rupert Murdoch's empire. Evans once described business discussions with Murdoch as dealing with the devil. The current Virgin Radio is a station on DAB digital radio, and it has no outlet on FM at all, and it broadcasts in mono on a transmitter network that only covers 77% of the UK. It's a competitive market too. It's one of 44 national radio stations in the UK, and typically a radio listener will have a further 15 or so local radio stations available as well on their DAB set, and that's before the obvious additional choices of Spotify and podcasts. And one big difference, Virgin Radio has 413,000 weekly listeners, BBC Radio 2 has 14 million. So why on earth would Evans make the leap? Well, it strikes me that there are a few questions here. Is radio's most important weapon the talent? Evans is a known presenter and he will pull in the audience, and that's why he's been hired by News UK. Is music a differentiator anymore? Stations can promote their music position as much as they like, but real music fans have Spotify for that, and the rest of us want music that's okay alongside people we like. Do talent these days want more creative freedom? Even during his time at the BBC, Chris Evans has always wanted to shape his own destiny, running a passion project, a car festival alongside his breakfast show, and then a relatively disastrous tenure at reheating Top Gear and TFI Friday. There's much more freedom with a commercial company than a public service broadcaster, and with the internet, much more opportunity still. Would Evans have leapt to work at a station called The Badger or Hot 89? I'd argue that the Virgin brand was fundamental, not just to attract new listeners, but to attract talent as well. News UK owns a set of local FM radio stations across the UK, which in total are available to 6 million listeners and currently reach about 900,000 every week. I used to broadcast on one. Now, would these be better served by rebroadcasting Virgin Radio, which recent rule changes would allow? And News UK also own, of course, The Sun and The Times. There are some cross-promotional possibilities here, but how much money is News UK likely to want to invest? Whatever, this is real investment in radio, especially digital radio, and I really hope it works out for everyone concerned. You can get my weekly newsletter at james.crid.land and daily podcast news at podnews.net. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next week at Next Radio.